Hey, what's up you guys? It's Victoria. So in today's video, I wanted to do a fun exploration with you guys about how one seemingly simple phrase can actually have multiple meanings in English. In my opinion, this is a really overlooked component of learning an accent in a non-native language. We tend to hyper-focus on pronunciation and articulation, and we tend to forget about intonation. And this is really a mistake because even if you pronounce every single syllable perfectly accurately, if your pitch, if your intonation isn't what it should be, then you may in fact be communicating a totally different message than the one that you mean to be communicating. So in today's interactive exercise, I'm going to read you guys a short phrase, and I'm going to read it 10 different ways. And how you're going to maximally benefit from this exercise is as soon as I've said the phrase, I want you guys to make the decision about what the meaning was. So if you're able to, say it out loud. If you're not able to say it out loud given where you are, then say it in your head. But don't wait for me to just tell you the answer. Really try to make the decision before hearing the answer. And I tried all of these on my husband right before recording, and he got 100% accurate. So I just want to tell you guys this so you can have a good gauge as to how well a native speaker would perform on this kind of task. So our phrase has just 3 words. That was great. So let's look at these 10 different examples to see how intonation impacts our meaning. So example number 1 is, that was great. That was great. What meaning am I conveying? So the meaning that I'm conveying in this example is that I'm genuinely thinking that that was wonderful. So I'm conveying an average level of enthusiasm. So the words themselves are friendly and polite, but I'm not being over the top enthusiastic, nor am I being kind of unenthusiastic. I'm hitting somewhere right in the middle when I say, that was great. So for example, if you had me over for dinner, I could say, thanks so much, that was great. I really enjoyed it. I'm just being genuine, and I'm again falling right in the middle of the enthusiasm spectrum. Example number 2 is, that was great. That was great. So what do you guys think in this case? So I'm sure you can tell that I have more enthusiasm than I did in example 1. So this would be an example of having higher than average enthusiasm, which may or may not be appropriate based on the situation. So example number 3 is, that was great. That was great. So as I'm sure you guys can hear, in this example, I have even more enthusiasm than in the prior 2 examples. So I would only reserve this kind of intonation for really special or exceptional circumstances. Like for example, if my baby takes her first steps, I'd be really, really excited and I'd say, oh my gosh, that was great. I wouldn't just give her example number 1 and say, that was great, because I really want her to know just how exciting what she's doing really is. So example number 4 is, that was great. That was great. So in this case, am I still expressing that something was in fact great or not? So in this case, I still am. However, I'm using a low level of enthusiasm. So if you're like a disgruntled teenager and your mom bakes you a dessert and she says, hey, how'd you like it? But if you're not really into the interaction, you might say, that was great. So you're still technically being friendly, but you're not conveying much enthusiasm because my pitch is fairly flat. Example number 5 is, that was great. That was great. So this one is more nuanced, to be sure. But again, when I tested my husband, he got it right away. So the intonation, the meaning that I'm conveying in this case is that I'm actually not being genuine. It's like a fake voice. So even though I'm attempting to be friendly, my voice, my pitch, and my pitch change is telling the listener that I don't actually think it's great, even though I'm pretending that that's the case. Example number 6 is, That was great. That was great. So in this case, what does it sound like? So in this case, it just sounds like I'm not really sure. So I don't know, was it? Like you try a really unusual meal for the first time and your friend says, "What'd you think?" And you say, "That was great." Like, I don't know, I think it was great. I haven't really decided yet. So example number 7 is, that was great. That was great. So in this case, what am I really saying? So in this case, I'm saying that was great at some point in time, but it's not anymore. It's definitely gone way down in quality. So this would probably be followed by like a but statement afterwards. That was great, but now it's terrible. Example number 8 is, that was great. That was great. Very, very similar to example number 7. But in this case, I'm expressing that, yes, this really was great. You're saying that it wasn't great, but I'm disagreeing with you, and I'm saying that, yes, it was. That was great. So example number 9 is, that was great? That was great? So this one is certainly similar to the one we saw earlier, in which I just wasn't sure if it was great or not. But the meaning of this one would be that I'm just kind of confirming that I understood you correctly, that we're on the same page. So I'm not sure whether you said grotesque or great, so I can say, that was great? Is that what you said? And example number 10 is, that was great. That was great. So in this case, even though my words seem to imply that I'm being complimentary and that I'm saying something was great, my tonality is actually expressing that I'm being sarcastic. So I didn't think the thing was great. I thought it wasn't great. So if I went to see a movie and I thought it was pretty terrible, instead of saying that was terrible, I could use sarcasm and I could say, well, that was great. And again, my listener would understand that I don't really mean the words on a superficial level. So if right now you guys are wondering how you're going to be able to incorporate all these nuances into your speech and at the level of your brain, really the answer is to do a lot of good quality listening. And the last video I put up about understanding fast English, it really covers a lot of the same principles that are necessary for your brain to make those stronger neuronal connections and to be able to use this stuff much more effortlessly. So that's it for today's video, you guys. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye.